Hey, how's it going, everybody? We are actually taking the car out on another range test. This is actually range test version 2. Last time we did a range test, it was about 50 degrees outside. Well, we are in the heat of summer. It's about 86 degrees. Now, I know that's not as hot as it gets with my friends down in the Southwest or anything like that, but it's pretty warm for where we are right now. So perfect opportunity to jump out there to see how far we can go. We are actually heading to the Great North. On our current trip, we have about 200 miles, 188 now. We're a little bit into the trip. And if you see here, we actually have 2 hours and 54 minutes, and it says we'll be there at 5:24. But the cool thing about this is it tells us exactly the range or the battery we're gonna have left when we get there. So sit back, relax. You guys are watching the Tall Tesla Guy. Our trip itself is about 2 hours, or it's about 3 hours and 20 minutes, I guess, really. It was right about 200 miles, 212 or so. Now, I know the car will go a lot longer than that. We have a Tesla Model Y long range edition, and we can get about, it says 326 miles, but you can automatically deduct about 10%, so about 32 miles just from regular driving, not racing or anything like that, just regular driving. And then on top of that, it's 86 degrees outside, so we are using the air conditioner. And I really wanted to set this test up like we did before to do regular driving. There is stuff that you can do to limit your amount of battery used, all that kind of stuff. Luckily, there are superchargers all along the way. And if you look at the map, you see all these red dots all along the way to where we're heading up north is superchargers. So they're all over the place anyway. But I really wanted to be able to jump in the car and go, just like you would with any vehicle. So that's kind of the purpose of this test right now. And now on this drive, it's at about 212 miles, which is what the navigation told us was going to be when we got there. And we're going to have about 12 to 14% of the battery left. Now, a lot of that's actually going to increase as we go using regen braking. It gives power back to the car. So we'll actually probably have more when we get there than it says right now. But that'll update as we move forward and move through the actual trip. But like I said, 86 degrees, we're using the air conditioner, and we are heading out. So I'm gonna fill you guys in along the way on the watt hours that we use. Our average watt hours right now, it's about 276, which isn't too bad. Hopefully it'll go down a little bit as we get into some highway driving, stuff like that, and then we'll just be going along the way. So one of the cool things about the car, outside of the technology, the navigation, all that kind of stuff, is the comfort of the drive. Now, we just have it in standard Autopilot. I know they just came out with a full self-driving subscription. However, I didn't opt for it yet. I might do it down the road because you can do it 1 month at a time, but this is just regular Autopilot. Now, I am never not going to focus on the road. You can't rely on the car. It is not complete full self-driving. It is not autonomous driving, anything like that by any means. You always want to be alert and aware and ready to take control if you need to, for sure. But it is nice. It allows you to kind of just pull your level of anxiety from driving down just a little bit and kind of relax your shoulders. And a Tesla is a perfect vehicle to do it in because of the spacious cabin that you have. With a panoramic roof, even at 6'5", I have plenty of headroom, plenty of space in the car for storage. We have our toddler in the back. We have our dog in the back. He's actually sleeping now, but more than enough space in the car for all of that stuff. And then just driving space. I have elbow room, I have shoulder room, I have leg room, everything in the car. I can sit and move around. It's super nice, and it just kind of adds to it. It just makes it that much more of a comfortable drive. And then the fact that you can put it in autopilot, enhanced autopilot, or the full self-driving, you can end up opting for that. And then it'll control the majority of the car for you. And it just kind of lets you pull yourself into a little bit of relaxation, which is nice. And then on top of it, touching on the technology, if you look at it, when we left, we had about 12% battery that they were estimating we'd have, or the car estimated we would have when we arrived, and now it's 18%. You get all this regen braking that puts this power back to the batteries and charges them up a little bit, which is nice and adds to it. And then on top of that, the car actually fluctuates the amount of battery you're going to use based on the way that you're driving. I'm not racing anybody. I'm not, it's not stop and go traffic. It's been flowing pretty good for us. And I'm on a highway right now, so it's just kind of moving, and it uses less energy, less battery. So we're just going to plug on down the road. We got about 137 miles left, and luckily where we are staying, there's actually a supercharger down the road, so we're more than enough, even with 18%, be able to get there, get checked into the hotel, and then we can charge up when we're heading off. So we're just gonna keep plugging down the road. So one thing that I did notice, and this has happened to me before, for some reason I haven't experienced any phantom braking or anything like that. I know a lot of people talk about that with the Autopilot, but one of the things, the car will pick up things around you, and if it thinks that you are not doing the Autopilot well, in a sense like, you know, not that you're not responsive to it, because I'm always on top of holding the steering wheel and you know, adjusting to the warnings that come on there, but if it thinks that the area is too tight, the lanes, anything like that, you'll get a warning like this. It says Autopilot safety convenience features unavailable, and it doesn't. What happens is it actually essentially puts you in Autopilot jail, and you can't use it again until you pull over, stop the car, and start it again. So, you know, little things like that it gets. I know it's a software issue. I know it's something to do with the cameras. You know, you get light reflecting in certain cameras at certain times. In this particular case, I'm in cruise control, not Autopilot, and we ended up driving by a semi truck, and I don't know if it thought that the road wasn't good for it, even though we're on a 3-lane highway right now, but I get the warning and now I am in Autopilot jail. So, you know, little things like that you know, kind of get you a little bit. Definitely doesn't ruin your drive. I'm having a super comfortable ride anyway, and we are well on our way. A little under, about 100 miles left in our trip, so it's nothing that you know, is going to impact us. If we end up stopping to grab a coffee or something, we'll reset it and restart it. As you can hear, baby in the back, she's having a great time, living her best life. So we're just gonna keep plugging. One of the things that's super cool about the technology with the Tesla and the mapping navigation system is that it not only shows you the superchargers, and that's what these red dots are. It shows you the superchargers, it shows you how many stalls are available. In this case, it's 8. And if you tap on it, it'll tell you the speed of the supercharger. This is a 150, but it's got 10 stalls, and there's 8 of them available, so there's only 2 people there, which is super nice. It's super nice to know kind of ahead of time. And then another thing that you can do in this case is where we're actually headed to isn't too far from here, but we figure we'll get there. We're about 35 cents state of charge left. It says we're going to get there with about 13% of the hotel. So we figure, hey, we're driving by this anyway. We're going to go to the supercharger, charge up, and then go to the hotel. That way we've got a full charge before we head out on the rest of the activities that we're doing. So one of the cool things that you can do here, you see this navigation button, and when you click it, it'll actually reroute you from where you are currently to the supercharger. And as it's doing that, I should say, it will actually start preconditioning the battery. So it's going to precondition the battery for you so that it's warm, and then you'll get the fastest charge possible when you arrive at the supercharger. So you're not sitting there all night charging or anything like that. So, currently I'm probably going to charge to about 80%. It's a 150 kilowatt hour supercharger, so it should be charging for about 15 minutes, maybe 20. It also tells us that there's places to eat, places to get coffee. We know that there's shopping around there. We checked a couple of the other apps and everything like that, told us all that kind of stuff. So we can kind of get there, charge up, stretch our legs a little bit, and then kind of go from there. So we're gonna head over to the supercharger. So we just arrived at the supercharger. We diverted away from the hotel to go to the supercharger so we could fill up. We ended up with about 17% left, which is actually a little bit more than we thought when we left and we were heading up here. We are up in Livonia, Michigan. It's actually not a bad area here. It seems like there's a lot of stuff around it, and it told us on the map that there was food and drinks and stuff like that options. And then looking at the ChargePoint app, it told us that there was stuff around here for shopping and such. And there's a whole Meijer here and a bunch of stores and restaurants, Outback, stuff like that. So we are going to jump out here. There's about 5 other Teslas in the charging ports, and we should be good to go. So we're actually about since it's a 150 kilowatt hour charger, so we're going to plug in, we're going to charge up to about 80%, and then we're going to head off. So one of the things is a supercharger, people ask all the time how long it takes to charge up. At this particular situation with 5 other cars here, it's going to take us about 30 minutes, which is fine. It's a perfect opportunity to stretch the legs. Baby needs to get out anyway, and we've got the golden retriever. So Ben is actually going to need to go to the bathroom and want to walk around a little bit, so get him out here, and you can see Ben there chasing a bag, but say hi, Ben. Hi. Yeah, so we can he can go to the bathroom and we'll be good to go. So
We're gonna keep an eye on it. In fact, when we got here, we got a text alert from Tesla that said, hey, you're plugged in, you're charging, make sure you don't leave it once it's charged. Because you know, they charge you by the kilowatt hour, but they also charge you for idle fees if you sit there after already charged. So we are going to charge up. I'll show you guys what kind of charging speeds we're getting, and then so we got this weird error thing, or error message alert that says high usage supercharger station. High usage in that there's 3 other ones and somebody else is just pulling in. Charging set to 80%, which is actually what we're gonna do anyway. And it is a 150 kilowatt hour charger. We're getting about 97, so it's definitely a little bit lower. You can tell that it's throttled back because of all the people that are on there. 405 miles per hour. 30 minutes to get to 80%, which is fine with us. It should charge quickly in the beginning and then move from there. So, you know, hey, I really appreciate you guys watching. It looks like in the end, you know, we have about 16% of the battery left, which it would equate to about 50 miles of range left over. Now that's range based off of 320 miles of range. You know, we were driving on the highway, slowing down. We made a couple of stops. When we stopped, we watched some Netflix to entertain the baby, stuff like that. But for the most part, it did great. We had more than enough charge to make it up here. The navigation and the network brought us to where we needed to be, so we didn't have to worry about it. We weren't nervous or anything like that. So, you know, range test number 2 with a hotter weather, 88 degrees, you can see there. It was successful. Everything went great. So, you know, really appreciate you guys watching. You know what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe. Really appreciate you guys tuning back in. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week, month, everything like that, and you're staying safe out there. Thanks a lot, guys.